Sanbonani, good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the East Rand Podcast Files. My name is DoubleM. Thank you very much for joining us. And today on the show we have a trailblazer who is a hip-hop artist, a TV producer and a radio personality. He has produced a number of TV shows such as Ones and Twos on SABC 1, She's Knees on ETV, and currently producing One Mic on SABC 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome Rashid Kay. Rash, my king. Finally, brother, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, man, we've been longing to have you on the show, and finally we have you.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I was with you, Rashid, it was back in February 2015 in Kwatema at Aishi Mic Movement.
I remember. I attended that hip hop session.
Yes, and I was the master of ceremony on the day, and we were celebrating Black History Month, and we had you as our keynote speaker.
Yeah.
Yes, and I must say it's good to see you once again, brother, man.
Thank you for having me one more time.
Rash, man, you know, you are someone who is very, very influential in the industry, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like into yakho mfethu ishayela phansi, you know. But today I feel like, you know, the world needs to know you, especially the upcoming artists, because isikhathini esiningi bazilegama leli Rashid Kay.
Yeah,
especially on Facebook and on radio, you know.
Yeah.
Rash, what's your real name and where are you from, brother, man?
My real name Mduduzi Rashid Khumalo. So that's where the K comes from, Khumalo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rashid is my middle name, so hence the Rashid K.
Oh.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Thokoza, East Rand.
Okay.
You know, so that's where I'm from. Yeah.
All right. And how did you get the name Rashid Kay? Because I clearly out here.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Ngalo.
No. Yeah, Rashid is my real name. I just took K from Khumalo, and I just ran with it, and then became Rashid Kay.
All right.
Ever since, yeah.
And how did you fall in love with hip hop? Who or what influenced you?
Hip hop. I have a brother who was into hip hop, but he always tried to convince me to listen to hip hop. But the type of hip hop he was listening to, I didn't fuck with, because he was into MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice.
Oh yes,
I was like,
yes.
Nah, man. Fuck is this? Until I think I heard Snoop Doggy Style.
Yes.
When I heard that album, that was it. Like, I was convinced.
Yes. What year was that?
It was I think it was 1994, 95.
Okay.
Yes.
And you say after hearing Snoop Dogg, you never turned
like,
back.
You know.
Yes.
It was the first time I listened to an album from start to finish.
Okay.
Because I used to give other albums a try and I'd get bored along the way.
Yes.
But when I heard Doggy Style, that was it.
Yes.
And then what made it worse, I saw the videos. He was so cool with the braids, with the
yes.
you know how the West Coast, the All Stars and the Dickies.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was sold.
You know, I've always asked myself this question, Rash. Were you affiliated with Hidden Force at some stage, or is it maybe in Buyengambine one? Or
I was never part of Hidden Force.
Okay.
But we grew up together. I lived opposite side of Supremo's house, and the other street was Gauza.
Oh, okay.
So we basically grew up together.
Oh,
but
okay.
I was never part of the crew.
Oh, so I mean, hip hop nonke, growing up because
we did everything together, like house parties, basketball, freestyles.
Yes.
But I was never part of Hidden Force. Yeah.
Okay, yes. And you are one of the brains behind Back to the City and the annual South African Hip Hop Awards.
Yeah.
How did it come about, Rashid? Because that's major right there.
Yeah.
You know.
We
can start with
Back to the City. Yeah.
Yes.
Back to the City started in 2007. The initial idea was to bring all the hip hop sessions together, like your Slaggees, like Soweto, Val, Tembisa,
Yes.
and bring them into one spot, bring them back to the city.
Oh,
you know, get all these hip hop sessions and bring them back to the city. You know, that was the whole
It makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And nayiqala kanjani? Because I remember the early days of Back to the City.
Yeah,
you know,
under the bridge.
Yes, under the bridge. It used to be like AMA sessions. I think you are right.
Yeah.
But it evolved from then on.
Even the first Back to the City, there was no entrance fee.
Oh yes.
Yeah, everything was free. You know, because it was treated like a hip hop session. But the first one, 3,500 people came. And then like, oh shit, this is big.
3,500 people.
On the very first one, 3,500 people under the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you guys knew, you know, we are headed somewhere here.
Yeah, that from there on, that was it.
Why did you guys have to cancel it Back to the City, Rashid? You know, because I remember I attended the Back to the City 2 years ago, and then there were flyers I show you in the near future. This is about to end.
We didn't cancel Back to the City. The plan was, when we started, the plan was to run Back to the City for 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah, for 15 years.
Oh, that was the plan?
Yeah, that was the plan, which is 2007 to 2021.
Wow.
That's 15 years.
Wow.
So it was supposed to end in
This
2021. Yeah.
Yes.
So because of COVID, it didn't happen in 2020.
Yes.
I don't think it's gonna happen in 2021.
Okay.
And in the process, Hennessy came on board
Yes.
as the major sponsor for the naming rights. Now it's called Hennessy Back to the City. So it's not gonna end anymore.
It's continuing.
Yeah, it's gonna go
So now
continue
it's gonna be,
because we have Hennessy and with the naming rights and everything as the main sponsor. So we have it now as Hennessy Back to the City.
Wow. That's news to me, and it sounds so very interesting.
Yeah.
And tell us about the annual South African Hip Hop Awards.
South African Hip Hop Awards started in 2012. You know, because everyone was looking at the summers and people were complaining.
Yes.
Nah, wrong nominations.
Yes. Especially the hip hop.
Yeah, these people don't know shit about hip hop. Because all we used to do was complain. So instead of complaining, we decided to do something about it.
Yes.
So we created annual South African Hip Hop Awards, and we came up with categories. We gave awards to people who were never going to get awards in their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
We had the best dance crew. We had the best graffiti artist. We had the DJ of the year. We had everyone who's playing a part with hip hop, even promoter of the year. Everyone who was playing a part in hip hop. Yes, we recognized every department of hip hop.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and this year, it's 10 years. We're celebrating 10 years of SA Hip Hop Awards.
Wow, who would have thought?
You know what I mean?
Wow, nice. What are some of your memorable moments?
And we just launched South African Hip Hop Museum.
I was about to ask you about that, my brother.
Yeah.
I was starting to say, let's keep on the museum.
With a museum, you know, when it comes to South African hip hop, we learned from Kwaito, and we saw all the mistakes that Kwaito made.
What were some of the mistakes?
They never had awards. They never had an annual festival. They never had a magazine. They never had a TV show.
Oh, yes.
They never had a clothing brand.
Oh, yes.
They never had. So everything that Kwaito didn't do, we did.
Oh, yes, it makes sense, Rashid. Yes.
So Kwaito was only music. Kwaito depended on music. There was no lifestyle. There was no culture, cultural aspect of it. So as soon as people were bored with Kwaito music, it was the death of Kwaito because there was nothing else.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yes.
But with hip hop, if kids don't want to listen to AKA, they will skate.
Oh, yes.
That's part of hip hop.
And they
spray can and go spray the wall.
Oh, yes.
That's hip hop.
Oh, yes.
They'll design some clothing label. That's hip hop. Hip hop doesn't rely on rap.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, what are some of your memorable moments about Back to the City? I'm sure you have so many, man.
Yo, I have so many. I don't even know where to start.
Let me share with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys made my year when you brought Elzai. You know.
Elzai.
I'm a big fan of Elzai, and you know when I watched him the other day when you guys brought him, I couldn't believe what yes, is Elzai here.
Yeah.
And ever since that performance, ever since that day, in fact, because it was not only Elzai, Sky Zoo as well. You guys brought him.
You know the most fucked up thing about this whole thing?
Yes.
When I was a kid, I used to listen to all these guys.
Yes.
Like Capadonna, Wu-Tang.
Yes.
And then fast forward, I'm the one driving to the airport to pick these guys up. You know,
Exactly,
I'm the one hanging with Master Ace.
Master Ace.
Yeah, hanging with Master Ace in the club.
Like,
you know.
Raj, man, tell us about that feeling. You know, growing up watching Master Ace, Elzai, as you've mentioned, and now you're driving to the airport to fetch them. How does that feel, brother, man?
Yo, bro, it's crazy. Imagine you being a 14-year-old kid listening to all these American rappers and then telling your friends that one day I'll book these guys, one day I will drive the... Do you think they would believe you?
No.
They would think you're crazy.
No, muntu wase America.
Yeah, they would think you're crazy. You know, it's like, but I know you can believe it. If I tell you now, one day I'll have lunch with Jay-Z.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You know, you know what I've done, and you know it's possible. But back then, if I said that,
oh,
you
yes,
think,
I would have said no,
this nigga is high on some shit. You know.
Yeah, that's so true,
Yeah.
Raj. That's
so
true.
it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Tell us about the Masterclass Hip Hop Sundays you are currently hosting, my brother. Because you don't seem to stop, Raj. You don't seem to stop.
Bruh, you always need to find creative ways to push the culture forward. You know, this COVID-19 lockdown has taught us a lot of things. You know, we can't host Back to the City because Back to the City is a stadium status. You know, if people can't go watch Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates,
oh, yes.
then we can't do Back to the City
absolutely.
because we attract the same crowd.
Absolutely.
You know, so I had to find another way to have a hip hop spot. So I had a meeting with Ziggy, the owner of Afro Brew, Pata Pata, and other spots, to say, you know what, the whole of Maboneng is Amapiano and house. We need a hip hop spot. You know, since he's a cool dude and he knows me from way back, you know, he was like, yeah, man, you can use Sundays. So I started hosting hip hop Sundays here.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
You know, so
was this plan? Did you guys plan this last year or
this year?
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now you produced and co-hosted a hip hop show called Clever Unga Give Up on Kozi FM.
Yeah.
For 2 years. How did that come about, Rush?
The Ukozi FM thing was coincidental because at that time I was the chief editor of I Speak Hip Hop magazine. So Ukozi FM, they were having a competition, battle rap competition, sponsored by Red Bull. So those guys called me in to be the judge on that competition. The competition ran for 3 months. They're like, Rashid, we need you, we know you do this and that when it comes to hip hop, so we need you to come in and judge. So I came in, I was on Ukozi FM for 3 months. When the competition ended, they were like, okay, no, we want you to stay on the hip hop show. So I stayed on Ukozi FM. It ended up being 2 years until I was approached by Metro FM.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so...
How was it like, Lapa, Ukozi prior, before we're going to get into Metro FM? Because you know, for me, Ukozi and Metro, they are two different radio station.
Yeah.
You know, catering for different crowds.
Yeah.
You know, how was it like for you, Lapa Bukhosi?
It was difficult. It was difficult because, first of all, my Zulu language is not that on point.
Yes.
You know, so, and you know how KZN and people
Yes. That's why I'm asking this question.
they very sensitive when it comes to their language.
Yes.
You know, but luckily it was hip hop. You know, my audience was young people.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
They could relate and
That
understand.
they could relate and understand.
Oh, yes.
You know, because they've heard Pro Kid before. They know like Kasital.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
During your visitation at the Aishi Mike Movement show, man, I remember there was one common question from the crowd. You know, as you and I interacted with the crowd, as I was taking the questions and you answering them.
Yeah.
And you know that question was, how can upcoming artists be a part of this industry? I.e., how can they get their music playlisted on radio stations, getting bookings, etc.? Because sometimes it seems like this industry is very hard for upcoming artists to enter into.
It's very hard. It's very hard for upcoming artists. It's almost impossible because the game have changed. The game has changed. You know, back then, all Pro Kid needed was a talent, was skills. All Dukes needed was talent, was skills. Now, that's not enough. You need a budget. You need to pay for PR. You need to pay for radio plugging. You need to pay to boost on Facebook. You need to pay to boost on Instagram. You need to pay to get to trend on Twitter. Everything is money. You know, that's why hip hop moved from Kasi to the suburbs. Because Kasi rappers don't have a budget. That's why Kasi rap died. The Pro Kids were the last ones. If you're from the Kasi, you need a budget or you're not gonna make it in this industry. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No more about dope ganja.
No more about dope ganja. Oh my shit. I always see rappers on Facebook like, yo, me, I'm not gonna pay nobody. My talent will speak for itself. Nigga, you're lying to yourself. You're gonna be 30, 40 without blowing up. You need a budget for this shit.
I think that's why when I rush, especially in hip hop, we always have this conversation.
Yeah.
Why am I artist work actually airplay? Why untanga was a kasi or dope? I totally airplay, and it's always
it's a budget, bro. Like there's a middleman with everything. If you wanna be on radio, on TV, you must go via PR. The compilers and all these people, producers, they don't deal with artists directly. They deal with PR companies. So if you're not from the PR, they won't even open your email.
My word.
You know, like, hey, they're hating on me, bas valela ngaphandle. They don't even know you. They don't even know you to hate on you. So you must know the proper channels. You know, you must know the proper channels. And these people are never out. They never go out. You know, here I bring a lot of people to come DJ here. I bring your DJ Zandy from YFM, PH from Metro FM,
yes,
DJ Dollar from Kasi FM, Obi from Teta FM, DJ Soweto from Vau. They chill here, but you're staying at home. How are you gonna network with these people?
Absolutely.
How are you gonna?
Yes.
If you perform there and they see you, they're like, "Oh, that song is dope. Give me that song. I wanna play it on radio."
Yes. Making a very important
You know,
point,
if you don't do that shit, you're gonna complain forever, talking about bakuvalela ngaphandle. Akekho umuntu okuvalela ngaphandle. They don't even know you.
So uti ama out Makasane should go out there.
Should go out if they don't have a budget to pay
Go
for
out
PR.
there.
Go out and network, form these connections.
I mean, I'm watching even with what you are doing here today.
Yeah.
You know, the DJs that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, and the artists that are going to be performing.
Yeah.
We were talking about this, you know, off air with some of my teammates. That
Yeah.
what Rashid is doing here is very good. Only if I'm out Hiwasekasi were here, so
Yeah.
that they can ask Rashid how can they can perform, or maybe they can network.
Yeah, they can network. They can ask DJ Zandy, how do I get on YFM?
Yes.
You know, all these people are here.
Or maybe they can get impressed with your
You know,
energetic performance.
some people who are not on the lineup. Last week we had Dukes, like even artists and radio DJs, they come here to these events. But you're not going to know because you're staying at home.
Oh, yes.
Thinking, "Khona abantu abakuvalela
Ah,
ngaphandle."
making a very important point, Rush. I believe, brother man, you also have your own record label named Point Blank Entertainment.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Point Blank Entertainment was created and registered for my own music.
For your music.
Yeah, for my music, because I didn't want to go out looking for record deals. So it is a registered label, but I don't have any artist under the label. It's just me. It's just for my music administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next question. Why did you have to title one of your albums The K Word?
The K word.
Yes. I find it fascinating, but I thought I would want to hear from you. Uti, why the K Word?
It has a double barrel meaning. From the history of South Africa, we know the Kaffir
Absolutely,
word.
yes.
And you can see the cover of the album
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yes.
White only and
Yeah,
whatever.
I saw it.
Yes. So that's where the idea came from. And another meaning is my word. As a Rashid Kay, the K word.
Oh, the K
Yeah, my
word. Yes.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next question as well.
Yeah.
I follow you on Facebook and I've been following you for quite some time. And
Yeah.
one thing I like about you, Rashid, is your pen game. I'm a notes wako, bra. I often read your notes. Your pen game is absolutely the best.
Yeah.
Which brings me to this question. Are you a religious or spiritual person?
I'm a very spiritual person because of my upbringing. I'm from the Islamic background. I grew up in the nation of Islam.
Okay.
And in the Islam, they don't preach, they teach. They're not
Okay.
gonna stand there and quote verses.
Okay.
Hey, John 15, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
It says this and that. No, they don't do that. They teach you.
Yes.
Like, you see, when they say this and that, it means this and that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
yes.
that got me questioning things. And when I was a kid, I used to do karate.
Okay.
Karate is a very spiritual sport.
Ngengayizwa leyo.
Because you meditate and bow
Oh,
and
yes.
do and recite.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, yes.
So mixing Islam and karate and then hip hop, it can never get better than that.
Oh, yes.
It
yeah.
can never get better than that because you're the most open-minded person.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I think the way you explained it,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's a
Yeah.
fusion that makes sense to
Yeah.
me. Now, you've mentioned I Speak Hip Hop magazine, but I'm
Yeah.
going to take you back to that.
Yes,
How
yes.
did you become a part of it? Of the I Speak Hip Hop magazine, and what were your main duties as their chief editor?
I didn't start on I Speak Hip Hop magazine. I didn't start as a chief editor.
Oh, okay.
So how it started was I wrote some hip hop articles. I wrote the history of SA hip hop. I posted it as a note on Facebook, and they saw it. They're like, "Yo, bruh, can we publish this article?"
What were you saying on that note, if I may ask,
It's,
on the history of hip hop?
I wrote about the history of South Africa, how it started. Like, if you want to know about South African hip hop, the history of South African hip hop, go to your phone and Google South Africa, the history of South African hip hop by Rashid Kay. It will appear. It's on Google.
Okay, it's there.
Yeah. So I wrote that. I didn't thumbsuck it. It came from research,
Okay.
like months and months of research.
Yes.
So I posted that note on Facebook. They called me, "Can we publish this on the magazine?" I was like, "Sure, why not?"
Oh,
And
that's
they,
when.
Yeah, they published it, and it was huge.
Yes.
It got a lot of feedback, positive feedback.
Yes.
And then they called me, "Don't you wanna work for us and write for us?" And I did. I wrote, I think after 3 issues, they promoted me to becoming an editor.
An editor.
Not just a writer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I became an editor, and then
Okay.
the rest is history.
I think that's the thing about you, Rashid. Everywhere you get to be a part of, bayakufuna futhi ndoda ukuthi ubuye. I think you give your all when you do everything that you do.
Yes, I do.
Yes. And I can see
And
why.
I'm not. I'll tell you one thing about me. I'm not scared of taking risks. When there was She's Knees, before it changed, it became to She's Live. I was the first producer to produce She's Live. It was live. It was not pre-recorded.
Oh, it was live.
It was live. I had never produced a live show before, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this shit.
And you took a risk.
I took a risk. I did 3 seasons of She's Live.
And how did you become? I remember when you came to Guatemala in 2015.
Yeah.
You spoke live that you are now a part of ETV She's Knees. How did that happen? I'm asking you that now.
She's Knees. I never applied for the job. I've never applied for any job.
That's
anyway.
the thing.
I've never applied for any job. I always get a call. Like, yo, bruh, we have this and that. Do you think you can do it? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that.
And that's how you got the job.
So, with She's Knees, I was hooked up by DJ C Live.
Oh, yes.
Because at that time, he was producing Club 808.
Oh, yes.
Which is the same production, Red Pepper.
Okay.
So, C Live called me. In fact, they're looking for a hip hop producer here, and there's no one else I can think of. Do you think you can be here in 2 hours for an interview? I was like, sure. Then I drove to Linden,
Yes.
Red Pepper.
Yes.
Did the interview. It was not even formal. It was by reception. We did the interview standing.
By reception.
Yeah, by reception. They asked me. I'm like, because I had done TV before.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, yo, bruh, when it comes to TV, I've produced Yo TV, battle stations, 1s and 2s. And when it comes to hip hop, back to the city, SA Hip Hop Awards,
Yes.
I Speak Hip Hop magazine. So I have experience for TV and hip hop.
Wow.
So there's no one better than me. They were like, okay, cool.
Yes.
You're starting tomorrow. We're gonna email you the contract.
And the rest is the present.
The rest is history.
And how do you feel about the current state of SA hip hop?
It's different but the same.
What do you mean it's different but the same?
With every era, there's always gonna be exciting cats and not so exciting
Absolutely,
cats.
I agree. Yes. Yes.
Right now, I'm excited to see people like Lucas Raps. I'm excited to see Blackie. I'm excited to see all these young kids coming up like with dope flows and rhymes and lyrics.
Yes.
Because a lot of people always complain, this trap is whack. These new kids are whack.
And about they play.
But if you follow your hip hop like in its entirety, you will find the gold there. That's why I'm saying it's different but the same.
Oh, now I get you.
Yeah.
Now I get
So
you.
because there's always every year, every era has dope cats and whack cats.
Absolutely, and I fully agree,
Yeah.
Rash. Now, what are some of your main duties as a content producer for shows like SABC One's One Mic? Because cinema really One Mic, I spend out rapper, but for you as a content producer behind the scenes, what do you do?
As a content producer, the name is self-explanatory because you bring the content. Bring the content, you write the script, you control the segments, you do auditions, you pick these rappers, you make sure you pit them against each other. Like on this episode, so and so will battle so and so. So you come up with the whole show,
So basically,
yes.
yes. And including having to choose the cats with ibapha bazoya on air,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
Wow, it makes sense. Now, what would be your message of encouragement to upcoming artists or anyone who aspire to be a part of this industry?
I always say this: making it in this industry as 60% connections, 30% talent, 10% luck.
I'm glad you just said it all, especially the 60% part,
Yeah,
the
that's
connection.
the most important part. You know.
So you have to have the right
You
connections.
must go out there and connect. You
Go
must
out
go.
there.
You must go out there and connect. You know. Oskido was never my boy. I met him in the industry. I connected.
Oh yes.
You know.
Yes.
A lot of people, Osmic, we went to different schools.
Oh yes.
But we
Yes.
networked and connected.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And how is it like working with the Grootman Oskido? I mean, you know, he's someone I look up to. I mean, in the history of SA hip hop, he's known as someone who initiated a rap activity
Yes,
back
he
in the day.
started Rap Activity Jam in 1997 on YFM.
Yes.
And the first time YFM had 1 million listeners was on a Wednesday evening during Rap Activity Jam.
Oh yes.
So not just hip hop, the whole industry, the music industry, Oskido as a walking encyclopedia. I learned a lot from Oskido.
And
Not by him saying anything, just by me watching him, listening to him. You know, I learned a lot.
Yes.
You know, I'm the hip hop version of Oskido.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you describe yourself using 3 words? If you would describe yourself using 3 words, I'm putting you on the spot now.
I have 2 words. I have to think about the third one.
Okay.
I'm ambitious, knowledgeable, and a go-getter.
Oh yes, and definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially knowledgeable. You know, I've been following you for quite some time, Dota.
Yeah.
And the last part that you mentioned,
Yeah,
you are a
go-getter,
go-getter,
yeah.
Rush. You know, you
No,
don't.
I'll
you
go
don't.
out there. I'll go out there and get mine.
Yes.
You know, because
Yes.
it's not gonna come to you.
Oh, yes.
That's the problem with these new cats. They like, yo, put me on. Yo, basvalela ngaphandle.
Yes.
Yo, so and so must retire so we can come in. It will never happen. Even if Casper were to retire today, it won't be you next because you're sitting at home.
Oh, yeah.
You need to go out there.
Rush, my brother, I think you've said it all.
Yeah.
You know, this I've enjoyed this interview thoroughly, and I'm sure the people, especially hip hop artists, upcoming
yeah.
hip hop artists who are watching at home,
Yeah.
will take notes. You
And
know,
producers and graphic designers
yes, yes,
and everyone within the hip hop. It's not just rap.
yes,
You know.
yes,
This message is for all of y'all.
yes.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for joining us on the East Rand
Yeah.
Podcast Files, Rashid.
Sure. Follow me, Facebook Rashid Kay, Twitter at Rashid_K, Instagram at Rashid_K. Follow me, you might learn some shit.
Wow, there you have it from the trailblazer himself, someone who's been flying the East Rand flag very, very, very high for so long. Wow, it's been a very interesting interview, I must repeat myself. My name is Mbandi DoubleM, and from myself and the rest of the team, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode here on the East Rand Podcast Files. Adios.